Yeah, just one day after that offensive breakout, you thought, oh, maybe the offense is fixed. It took literally one game to go right back to sleep.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about what thing we've talked about the entire daggum season. This offense stinks. Nathan Eovaldi is great. Everything is fine, but nothing is fine. But before we get to all that, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, one day after the offensive bonanza, a 15-run explosion for this offense, the Rangers just went back to being exactly what they've been all season long, which is one of the worst offensive teams in baseball. A team that gets runners on base, but doesn't do a darn thing about it. This Rangers team left 11 runners on base. 11. 11. That's almost as many as the runs they scored yesterday. They had 10 runners left on base yesterday. It could have been, 20-2 win in yesterday's game. Alas, that was not the case. And the Rangers went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position in today's game. Just reverting back to what they had been, which is a team that does not make great swing decisions. The swing decisions, this one, weren't as bad. The pitching was actually really good. Luis Severino is a good pitcher. He is a good pitcher, and they did technically what I asked for. I asked him to not have a quality start, and he didn't make it through 6 innings. So hey, it just so happens that apparently every random person the A's are pulling out of their bullpen, they've decided now that since they are out of Oakland, they're going to start being competent again, which is incredibly frustrating for the timing for the Rangers, that they can just pull these relievers out of nowhere and they're just going to actually scout well, which they haven't done, and pull random guys out of nowhere that did well. This is what the A's teams used to do, and I thought that we were giving up on them for a little bit. I thought that John Fisher's incompetence had melted and trickled down through this entire organization and ruined everything. Unfortunately for the Rangers, that is not the case, because just every reliever that they threw out there, heck, maybe it didn't matter what relievers they were throwing out there. This Rangers offense is still in a funk, but you'd think you'd be able to manage to muster more than one run a game after your offensive breakout, the dams bursting like you've been waiting for all season long. But no, that wasn't the case. Again, not great swing decisions. The lineup change up after Berger having a really, really good day the day before. It goes 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts in the 3-hole. A bad day for Wyatt Langford, too. 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, hitting leadoff again. And Josh Smith did well in the 2-hole, and then the middle of this lineup to the bottom of this lineup did pretty darn well. Marcus Semien reaching base multiple times yet again. A multi-hit day from Josh Young, a multi-hit day for Adolis Garcia, who drove in the only Rangers run. Jonah Heim reached base multiple times. Leody Taveras reached base a time, which is more you can say than the 1 and 3 hitters. And Jock Pederson should have had a multi-hit day. He should have had at least an RBI. Maybe the Rangers should have had a lead at one point, if not for, again, just random defensive excellence by the A's. But alas, that was the case. These bats just, again, the situational hitting, the swing decisions, it goes back to exactly what this team had been. At least they worked some walks in this one. I mean, Luis Severino, they had him on the ropes. He got, honestly, quite a bit of help from the umpires in an inning where the Rangers could have bursted open in that inning. They could have, and they managed to waste multiple at-bats with the bases loaded, multiple times with the bases loaded, and fewer runner at third with fewer than 2 outs. And they could not just get a ball into the outfield, drive a ball, hit a ball hard at an infielder, pass an infielder, or just get a sac fly, a sac bunt, whatever it takes to get the run home. They could not do it yet again, and it is just infuriating to watch, to the point where I feel like big changes might be coming. I mean, Jake Berger has been mostly awful this season. Marcus Semien has been mostly awful. He's turning it around. He's had, basically since that series in San Francisco, he has looked significantly better, had better quality plate appearances, but the results still aren't there. Adolis Garcia, for the most part, outside of that first week where he looked incredible, looked like, okay, this is a new Adolis Garcia, but he's been tinkering with his swing and the swing decisions. He has been so far in his head. You can't blame it on a knee injury. He looks healthy. He's running better. You can't blame it on. I don't know what you can blame it on at this point. Maybe it's the hitting coaching staff. Bruce Bochy has been very reluctant in his tenure as a manager to make a midseason coaching change. He actually has never done it. But whatever the coaches are saying offensively, it is not getting through. This is just one game, and it is one game after a 15-run explosion. And putting a lot of pressure on one game is difficult. Last night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, whatever the day was where they scored a bajillion runs. I've lost all track of days this week. They needed that on that day. They probably needed at least a couple of runs in this one. Maybe that would have saved them. Maybe the bullpen explosion would have ruined it anyway. But honestly, I would have felt better about a bullpen explosion loss if this Rangers offense had been able to score more than one run. And, I said there's no heroes waiting in the minor leagues, but heck, maybe the Rangers don't need heroes. Maybe they just need a guy. Maybe they need a guy, singular, to come up and change things. Heck, Ezekiel Duran, he's only played 8 games in AAA so far this season, but he's got 4 extra base hits, a couple of homers, a couple of doubles. He's got 3 walks to 9 strikeouts in 34 plate appearances. He's got a 901 OPS. Maybe he's the spark for this offense, or maybe it's the guy that they've been waiting for all along in Evan Carter. Evan Carter has reached base every single game he's played in AAA so far this season. He's played 18 games. His back is feeling healthier. He got his first hit off of a lefty yesterday for this season, a bloop single into shallow center field. But hey, a hit's a hit. And also, a walk is just as good as a hit. Heck, with this offense, a walk is even better than a hit. This offense just cannot walk. It cannot. It is expanding the zone to exorbitant rates. Marcus Semien, Leody Taveras, not Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, Leody Taveras, Jake Berger, all those guys are in the worst 10 percentile of swinging outside the zone. They just are not able to help themselves with these pitches that are unhittable, that they can't do any damage on, and to get themselves into good counts to do some damage, because they can do damage. We've seen Jake Berger do damage when he's making contact with the baseball, which right now is not frequently. He's making very hard, very loud contact. It's just he's not making contact because he's not giving himself a chance. Adolis Garcia is not even really making all that hard a contact compared to where he's been. And he's expanding his zone like crazy. But hey, he got a couple of hits in last night's game. He drove in the only run, did it with 2 outs. That's something this Rangers offense hasn't been able to do. But maybe adding in an Evan Carter, even after the last couple of days that Leody Taveras has had. Leody had a 3-hit game, reached base 4 times, including 3 hits off lefties. I know one of them was a bunt single. It still counts as a hit. And something that he hasn't done, and something that Evan Carter can't really do is hit lefties. But for Leody, I think it's too little too late. It's Adolis Garcia, it's getting close to the end of the line. Adolis Garcia and Leody Taveras are some of the few ones that the Rangers could actually move on from. Jake Berger, I think he's been in the big leagues long enough that he could refuse an outright optioning, but he's got one minor league option left. And I don't know, maybe the Rangers do something drastic, give Jake Berger a week or so in the minor leagues to say, hey, stop chasing those freaking pitches outside the zone. Say it to every single hitter in the lineup. Hey, stop swinging at the bad pitches. Step 1 of good offense. Swing at the pitches that you can hit. Don't swing at the ones that are terrible. It's hard, but it's also simple. Just make better swing decisions in general, and then things can go from there. This offense should be too talented to be this bad for this long, but it has been. It's been a month, and the Rangers have 4 different guys that are everydayers in their lineup that have an OPS plus below 70. I mean, Jock Pederson, he's had some better at bats. I think he's going to come out of it, but his OPS plus for the season is 13, where 100 is league average. He's 87% worse than league average. Marcus Semien looked better recently. His OPS plus is 49. He's been half as good as a regular hitter. Jake Berger, a 61 OPS plus. It's just up and down. This lineup has been so darn bad that it's almost time to do something dramatic. I don't want to put all this pressure on one game, but I'm going to tell you why this afternoon game, the Rangers need to win it, and they need to score a lot. And I'm going to tell you why right after this. This show is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair of controllers, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you are ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. How do you feel when you game and you're not in front of your TV? You can take your Fire Stick with you on vacation, no matter where you're going. It is so much easier than lugging around this big old console. It makes traveling with your gaming setup so darn easy. It's just like you're streaming your favorite devices. You just got a little Fire Stick, you just got a little controller, take it on the road, plug it in your suitcase, as opposed to taking up your entire suitcase with a gaming console. No longer. You got the Fire Stick. It is so darn good for gaming. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV locked on to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Now, shout out to the everydayers for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I will be back talking about this finale against the A's, where the Rangers, they just need to win it. They should have won this series against the A's at home. You need to win every single series at home. The Rangers, normally when you look at a game, you look at the starting pitching matchup, you don't just get to say, oh, this guy's ERA is lower for this one team than the other guys, so therefore that team should win. But when you compare the two starting pitchers in this finale that might have already happened as you're listening to it, and you look at Tyler Mahle versus Jeffrey Springs, Tyler Mahle has a 1.14 ERA on the season. He has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. And then you have Jeffrey Springs, former Ranger, mediocre, and a guy who the A's traded decent chunk of prospect capital to go get, to be their number 2 in their rotation, and he's got an ERA of 6.04. When one guy's ERA is nearly 5 runs higher than the other one's, you should win that game, and you should score a lot. You should score a lot of runs. The most recent outing for Mr. Jeffrey Springs came against the Chicago White Sox. Heck, actually 2 of his 6 starts so far this season have come against the Chicago White Sox. And in the last game, Chicago White Sox dropped a 10 spot in the entire game against the A's. They only scored 5 earned runs against Jeffrey Springs, but they scored 7 runs. They worked 2 walks, 7 hits. If you can't do better or as good as the White Sox, we'll say 5 runs, because whatever the errors happened that caused 2 of those 7 runs that Jeffrey Springs gave up to be unearned. If you can't score 5 runs, at least in the whole game, and you're worse than the Chicago White Sox, don't ever be worse than the Chicago White Sox right now. Maybe in 2005, when they were good, you could be worse than the Chicago White Sox. When it was, the Black Sox days when they were actually good, maybe you could be worse than the White Sox then. Maybe in the 90s or whatever the past heydays of the Chicago White Sox where you could be worse than them. But right now, do not in any category, in any situation, in any moment, be worse than the 2025 Chicago White Sox. Don't you do it. Don't embarrass me. Just like Sabrina Garper said, please do not embarrass me. I'm begging you, Rangers offense. Please, please, please. Score more than 2 runs. Heck, just make it more than 2. Make it more than it's been in this fan because I am just beyond my wits end with this stinking offense. But I'm so tired about talking about this offense being bad. I want to talk about something good. And you know what's good? Nathan freaking Eovaldi. Have a day, have a season so far. Have a great month to start this season. This has been an exceptional month for Nathan Eovaldi. He has been everything that the Rangers bought in for. I'm sure he is doing all kinds of great mentorship stuff with Kumar Rocker, with Jack Leiter, just, talking with them about what it takes to be a good big league pitcher, what it takes to be a big game boy. Maybe he has helped Tyler Mahle with his splitter. I have not heard any confirmation of that. Maybe that's why Tyler Mahle is doing so good. I don't know. But the vibes that Nathan Eovaldi brings are fantastic. The big games that he brings are so big. 6 innings in this one. Did work around 6 hits, no walks, because that's classic Nathan Eovaldi. Popped in 8 strikeouts, lowered his season ERA to 2.11. He allowed just 1 earned run, and still stays on top of the league with the fewest walks per 9 at 0.6 walks per 9 and the best strikeout to walk ratio of 15.33 strikeouts for every single walk he's had this season. 42 and a third innings and 2/3 innings, on the season in those 7 games. He's averaging 6 innings per start. He's averaging, what is that? A run and a half-ish per start. He's averaging more than a strikeout per inning, 9.7 Ks per 9, less than a walk per inning. He has just been everything that you could have possibly hoped for this season. With Jacob deGrom looking like his best self, you got a top 3 in your rotation of freaking Jacob deGrom, who now officially looks back, Tyler Mahle, who looks way better than the Rangers had any right to expect. You have Nathan Eovaldi looking like that dude. Jack Leiter, rough last start, but I think overall on the season, in the 3 starts that he's had so far, we'll see how he looks in this first start against Seattle. Their offense has been cooking. The Rangers offense desperately needs to turn it on before they have this massive weekend series against the AL West leading Seattle Mariners, who have a sus pitching staff and a great offense right now. What is that like? That reminds me of 2012 Rangers, 2010 Rangers, 2011 Rangers. I miss those days. Honestly, I miss watching a team lose because they can't pitch. It feels less infuriating to me to watch a team lose because the pitchers are just bad and the offense is still good. Losing a game, 7-5 or 7-4, heck, 10-6. You're like, hey, the offense did the job, but they didn't have a chance because the pitchers were just bad. I don't know what it is in my mentality. Maybe it's just that I grew up watching so much Rangers baseball that made me feel this way. But I think it's more infuriating to get these kinds of results out of the starting rotation every time through and see the offense just completely continue to fall flat on its face. I mean, it's just wasting so much greatness from Nathan Eovaldi, from Jacob deGrom. And the point is, I've said this to basically every episode this whole season, is just, I'm not asking this offense to be the 1929, 1927 Yankees. I'm not asking them to be the 2023 Dodgers or 24 Dodgers, or heck, even this year's. Well, I'm definitely not asking them to be this year's Dodgers. Just be okay. Score 4 runs a game as opposed to 3. If this team scores 4 runs in a game, they're winning it 9 times out of 10. Actually, I believe it's 11-1 that this team is when they score. Their record is when they score 4 or more runs. Just 4. It's not even the Papa John 7. It's not even, 5 runs, 6 runs, 12, 15 runs. Just score 4, man. I'm not asking for the world. I'm asking for the bare minimum, and I'm getting less than the bare minimum. And it is just infuriating. It is maddening. It is defeating. It just sucks, man. It just sucks watching this team right now do the same thing over and over again. Right when you thought that they were starting to break out, maybe just adding Corey Seager back will remind everyone, hey, we can hit okay. Maybe they'll also make some dramatic changes. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've given up trying to understand this offense, trying to understand this team, trying to understand what the heck is going on. And I'm just resigned to sit here and say, it just freaking sucks right now. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it is easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all that stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Now, as I was sitting there in my pause between ad breaks, I thought of one reason, one mea culpa, one cop out to give this offense a mulligan on yesterday's show. I think it's a good reason why this offense didn't want to hit home runs, didn't want to have all the fireworks and the loud noises and the cheering of what would be a very, very loud environment, because Globe Life Field can get very loud. And I thought of the reason. I realized it. It was actually this Rangers offense being very, very considerate to the most vulnerable population to loud noises. It was Bark at the Park Day. What was I thinking? They didn't want to hit a whole bunch of home runs, have a bunch of fireworks, scare all those nice dogs. Actually, this is a great idea for the Rangers. Just for one game while the pups are there. Don't frighten those poor puppies with those fireworks. Don't frighten them with loud cheering. Have a game where everyone's quiet, everyone's chill, everyone's just chilling with their dogs. No fireworks terrifying all those sweet puppies. Thank you, Rangers offense. Maybe give you a day over. Maybe a do-over. Maybe there's no pups at the yard on this Thursday matinee game, and things could just be fine, and the Rangers can lose in a different way. But maybe the offense actually steps up and does its part in this one against a Jeffrey Springs who has been struggling very mightily this season. But you know who else struggled last night? It wasn't just the offense. Nathan Eovaldi was awesome. Adolis Garcia had a pretty good day. Marcus Semien had a pretty good day. Jonah Heim, honestly, pretty good day for him and for Josh Young, a multi-hit day. Good on them. Could have been better, but hey, it was a good enough day. But it was a bad day for most of the Rangers' pen. And it feels deeply unfair that the guy who got tagged for the loss in this one was Robert Garcia, all because he faced one batter in the top of the ninth inning, allowed a leadoff single, and then Luke Jackson, the very next batter, comes in and allows a massive and unfortunately predictable 2-run homer to Brent Rooker, and then just completely loses it. Just did not have any feel for it in that game. I mean, his last two outings, you have that game, and then you have the Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events, which I love Luke Jackson, the character, as a person. Love that the Rangers took a chance on him and signed him. Didn't really love that he was just kind of defaulted into the Rangers closer role. I mean, blew a game on opening day. Has been mostly very good in save opportunities since then. This was not a save opportunity, but this was a loss that absolutely should be on Luke Jackson's shoulders. I mean, he comes in, he faces, 5 batters, and he only gets one of them out. He allows a couple of hits, including that 2-run game-losing homer, and then he just cannot find the strike zone. He did strike out one, but I don't think that Luke Jackson should stay in this closer's role for that much more often. I'm not just saying it because of this one game. I'm not just saying it because of the game that he blew against the A's in West Sacramento because his defense let him down, but Luke Jackson let himself down in that game as well. He let himself down in the walk-off inside the park Little League home run, or he made the first error that, let Elliot Ramos, it, just a silent H there, as all H's or H's frequently can be. But I don't think he has enough swing and miss stuff. I would rather see Chris Martin or Robert Garcia in that role. They've also just done a better job so far this season. I mean, Chris Martin is averaging 11 Ks per nine. Robert Garcia is a little bit under with that last performance, a strikeout per inning, but he's got a 2.03 ERA, and it should be below 3 if not for that earned run, that inherited runner that he left on base, given up in the home run by Luke Jackson. I think that there are some better options right now for the Rangers closer role than Luke Jackson. I don't think that he should be cut by any means. I don't think he has quite the swing and miss stuff. He's walking 4 batters per 9. He's striking out fewer than 8 batters per 9. It's just, he's not quite getting it done. He's also giving up 1.5 homers per 9. That's not ideal. More than a hit per inning. I mean, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Luke Jackson. He had those 8 saves. He's finished 12 games, which is the most of anybody in Major League Baseball. He's given up 3 losses. And honestly should be 4. He's got a negative 0.8 baseball reference score. I just think it's time to try somebody else in that closer's role. Maybe give Luke Jackson a couple of outings and lower leverage, get his confidence back. But when you're not getting that much swing and miss, when you're not getting that much chase out of the zone, when you are that wild, and you're expanding the zone quite a bit, and you're also giving up quite a bit more than your fair share of homers, it's not an ideal situation for your closer. And then it wasn't just him. I mean, Sean Armstrong comes in and allows a massive grand slam to the point where, you drop a 6 spot in the top of the 9th inning. It makes sense that your batters go 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 9th, even if you do have the top of your order there in that scenario. It's just, this was a tough one to lose. The Rangers have the same record as the frickin' A's. That should not be said at any point outside of maybe the first week of the season. This team should be better than this. This team was invested in for the most part. This is a team that should be better. Just be better. Maybe we'll see Corey Seager back this weekend against Seattle. I think he's eligible today to return off the IL, and so far I haven't seen anything about exactly when Corey Seager is supposed to be back. I don't know when for sure that's going to happen, but hoping it soon. Maybe it's been happening as I've been recording it, or it'll happen before that happens, but I don't know. The Rangers also made a couple of changes with their roster, with Tucker Barnhart being called up. They're dealing with a couple of injuries that aren't quite full injuries at this point to the lineup. That's why Kevin Pillar wasn't out there the other day against the lefty. He's dealing with a little bit of issues in his back. I believe Kyle Higashioka is dealing with some hamstring issues. It is something with his leg. I can't remember exactly what it was. That's why he wasn't in the lineup catching Nathan Eovaldi. It was the first time Nathan Eovaldi was caught by someone other than Kyle Higashioka, which is interesting because he'd been throwing to Jonah Heim for so often. It's normally when you see a personal catcher, it's someone who they have familiarity with. And I don't think that Nathan Eovaldi was on the Yankees when Kyle Higashioka was there, or Kyle Higashioka was called up when Nathan Eovaldi was on the Yankees. But whatever he's done, whoever he's throwing to so far this season, it doesn't really matter because Nathan Eovaldi has been so darn good. But the Rangers designated Dane Dunning for assignment. Welcome to the big leagues, and welcome back to the big leagues, and welcome back to the minor leagues. It literally, after one day, pitching 3 innings, and again, he didn't look that great, but heck, I thought he earned. If you're going to call him up, you might give him more than a day. But since he pitched those 3 innings, he probably wasn't going to get any work in the rest of this series, or maybe until Saturday or so against the Mariners. And the Rangers just needed somebody else who could play catcher on this roster while Higashioka is dealing with this injury. You're going to see quite a bit of Jonah Heim, Tucker Barnhart. His contract was selected by Round Rock, and Dane Dunning was designated for assignment pretty immediately after that game. They have also traded Daniel Robert to the Philadelphia Phillies in exchange for right-handed pitcher Enrique Segura. That was announced about an hour ago. So as of yet, we have not seen any sign of when exactly Corey Seager is coming back, but I don't know if Corey Seager alone could fix this offense. Maybe having good games in 3 days against the A's could fix it. Maybe a big day against Jeffrey Springs could make everybody feel better about themselves. Maybe. I don't know, but this is going to be a massive series this weekend against Seattle, a team that is playing really, really well, a team that we all thought at the beginning of this year would be in the Rangers head-to-head competition for this AL West. The Rangers still, as of this recording, have a winning record, and they have not been below 500 so far this season. You need to win this game, and you need to win a couple this weekend to keep that from happening. This team needs to stay above 500. It is a long season, but it's getting shorter every single day, and this offense looking worse and worse every single day is just maddening. It might just be time for some big changes. I don't know exactly what those are, but if this offense continues to suck, then some heads are gonna roll. Metaphorically, I don't think anybody's gonna die because this offense stinks, but who knows at this point, because it has been a really, really tough watch. That's gonna do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.